quite a bit.
And Ben, you can see the detail on my screen here.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, good. These two screens look quite different to me.
So what color space do you usually work in?
What color space do I usually work in? I don't know if you want to ask what color space I work in or what color space you should work in, because they could be different answers. So, but the question is, what color space should you or do I work in? The color space I work in varies. First off, the color space in Lightroom is only applied when you export your pictures. Internally, as far as I remember, it uses a special color space called Melissa RGB, which you've probably never heard of. But when you export your images, that'll be one of the choices you have, is what color space you want to end up in. And generically, what I would say is, if the destination for your image is the internet, a newspaper, or a program that's not smart about color, which means a database program is not usually designed for professional color, where a word processor that's not a high-end one, it's just a normal word processor, that kind of stuff. It's not a professional page layout program, that kind of thing. Then I would usually go with sRGB, because anytime there's a program that is what I would call dumb about color, in that it doesn't have a lot of settings related to color or sophistication there, it will make an assumption about your picture that it's sRGB, and if that's not true, the colors might not look right. So if the internet, a newspaper, the main reason I say newspaper is because you can't create all that saturated of colors in a newspaper. So it's not really important that you use one that lets you make really saturated colors. You can't print them anyway. And then those other things would be dumb programs that you need to give them sRGB. Also, if you end up sending out your photographs to be printed somewhere else, you need to talk with whoever's going to be printing them, the company, and ask what they want. Because some of those companies, in fact a good number of them, will want sRGB. Having said that, sRGB is the smallest color space, meaning it limits the saturation of your colors the most. And so I wouldn't use it if you're going to print on a printer on your desk. Printer on your desk can print things much more colorful than what you could have in an sRGB file. And so you'd be limiting your color range for no real reason, no benefit. Right? Adobe RGB is a pretty good color space to be in if what you do is send things out to be printed in magazines, brochures, high quality paper kind of things, and you print on your own printer on your desk, that kind of stuff. If you're going to become a color nerd and really figure out all these things and look at histograms of color spikes and know what they mean and all that kind of stuff, then you might consider ProPhoto, but I would not casually send you there. It's easy to mess up your files in ProPhoto. It's easy to give a file to somebody else where it doesn't look right and other things if they're not knowledgeable about it. So I wouldn't try to talk you into ProPhoto, but those people that are knowledgeable about color and are opinionated about that, I wouldn't try to talk them out of it if they know what they're doing. Okay? So I mainly use Adobe RGB for a lot of things. On occasion I use ProPhoto, and if I need to send it off to the internet or other things, sRGB. So I'm more versatile than some when it comes to usage. Okay? But if your picture doesn't include really vivid colors, if it doesn't look like this guy with his really colorful nose, then the color space that you're in is not going to matter much. It's when you have vivid colors that would matter. Okay. Any other quick questions about white balance by chance?
Yeah, do we have any questions in the studio audience? You guys are welcome to jump in at any point.
It's all right if you don't.
Oh, we have. We actually have one.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
What is? I had one.
White balance specific.
Yes. I dropped it.
You can go ahead and we'll just
Okay.
at the next breaking point we'll throw in some light.
All right. Well, why don't I talk about fine-tuning individual colors briefly. We'll probably get into it a little bit more detail tomorrow and possibly on other days. But I just want to make sure that if we have questions related to white balance, we can get to them close to the time when we talk about it. So I'm going to go back to the develop module on this image. And so far we've talked about only a few features relating to color, and that is temperature and tint for white balance, usually used to get rid of a color cast or to artificially introduce one into an image, like to make it look like sunset when it wasn't.